All right, so let's get to the heart of the question, right? Everyone's talking about Manning versus Brady. That's what this is about. I'm no Manning hater like Jank is.
I saw it as Brandon Bolden versus that Anderson
Yeah,
guy.
right.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Peyton Manning. I think he's a really good quarterback. I think he's really smart. He's excellent. But I've always thought Brady was the best quarterback the NFL in my lifetime.
The better quarterback.
He's
10-4 against Peyton.
Right. But I mean, yesterday was a perfect example of that. I mean, his throws into the wind were terrific.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think it's mainly because he throws a better spiral than Manning. Manning doesn't throw spirals that well. He's a great quarterback. It just
Of course he
it's
does.
like no,
of course
he doesn't.
He drops it right into the pocket.
His
the receiver
balls,
needs to
his
catch
balls
it.
have
it's
a lot.
perfect trajectory
Ricky,
of coming
he
right
does
down
not.
and falling into their hands.
He does not throw spirals the way even lesser quarterbacks like Jay Cutler throws a better spiral than Peyton Manning.
Don't tell Steve Young.
No, Peyton Manning and also Kurt Warner never threw really tight spirals. They're really good quarterbacks.
So
very
maybe
accurate.
that's why the wind clearly in watching that game affected Manning much more than it affected Brady. There was a lot of fluttering. I mean, what struck me about that game is a guy who had a not insignificant amount of fake money on the Broncos and was like, I wasn't even going to watch the second half. Like I had work to do. I look up, like 24, shit, it's 24-1. No, I had 24-21. No, I was like, I look up, I'm like, oh, what, they scored a touchdown. Of course they're going to score, right? So when, after the Patriots go up 31-24, and then they came back and tied it, and then got a chance to win it in regulation, and then 3 cracks in overtime, or 2? I think 3 cracks in overtime. I just can't imagine, I'm stunned that Manning didn't win it, but going into the wind, he didn't look good. And although if Welker catches that ball to set up 4th and 2 at the 32, they either kick a 50-yard field goal there and win the game, although it would have been into the wind. I still would have kicked it with Matt Prater, or you go for it and you keep the drive alive.
So look, I want to go back to talking about Brady versus Manning, and
why?
Because I just want to point out how much better Brady is than Manning.
He made a case for being better than Manning this year.
I mean, okay, so Brady who does he have? He has Julian Edelman, who is basically a poor man's Wes Walker.
Yeah.
And Edelman had a fantastic game.
I went to school with like 3 guys named Julian Edelman.
Bless you.
Yeah. He has Brandon Bolden as his running back.
Shane Vereen.
No, he had Shane Vereen and Steven
Shane
Ridley.
Vereen was
Right.
basically a
That's
bigger
fine.
version of Darren Sproles.
But Manning had no Sean Moran, who ran for 224 yards. He has Demaryius Thomas,
I'm sorry, guys.
who's the best receiver.
I'm allergic to bullshit.
Best, he's the best receiver, best athlete probably out there. And here's a play that I don't understand.
Yeah.
So Demaryius Thomas leads the league in yards after a catch. That guy's fucking awesome.
He's going to get paid.
Just get him the ball. Just get him the ball.
But a couple of times, right, they couldn't do it. Tried.
I understand. But I've been watching him a lot because he's on my fantasy team. And whenever they throw a little bubble screen to him, it works. Like half the time he gets an 80-yard or, however long it takes to get to the touchdown. He scores a touchdown on that. All it takes is one missed tackle, one good block, and he breaks it.
Gets the
he breaks
support,
it,
Especially
right?
at a point in the game. What is surprising is
why
that,
don't the Broncos run that play 10 times a game?
yeah, especially
Because
when
they don't want to be Lane Kiffin at USC.
But
running the
especially
same play.
when at a moment in the game where into the wind, where Manning is clearly struggling, you throw those screens and you're looking to get, especially on those last 2 drives, and we don't need a touchdown, man. Get to the 28-yard line. Matt Prater comes in, we kick, we go home, we win. So I agree with you, whereas the balls they threw to Thomas were a couple of deep fades, and the ball died. It died and fluttered, and Talib made 2 really good plays, but the ball died. And so Thomas outran the ball
twice.
He didn't know he was outrunning the ball, but all of a sudden he's like, oh shit, it's back there.
Yeah. See, he was clearly ahead of Talib, and if it had been a better throw without the wind catching it, he would have scored a touchdown. Or at least gained 30 yards.
Gained 20 yards. That's all
but
need.
the ball it's amazing how much it just died. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Brady was 34-50 for 344. Manning was 19-36 for 150. He had, I think basically
2 touchdowns, 1 pick.
It's 2 touchdowns and a pick. 73 yards in the first. It was amazing that Manning had, I think, 73 yards in the first half, and they were up 24-0. Yeah. Anyway, it was
a lot of fumbles, which saw 3 guys.
Yeah, it was actually not a very good game.
Right.
It was a very sloppy game, and the wind. That's all I mean. I like the elements in this. It's just that it was meant for half the game, everything was off. It's just weird that it came down to this what proved to be a great tactical decision by Belichick. I mean, I'm not sure the wind. The Patriots didn't score into the wind either, but they were able to at least punt in the right direction. And
no, actually, the Patriots did really well going into the wind. They did poorly with the wind at their back, which is odd. But actually,
weird stuff.
Yeah, actually, Trent Dilfer broke it down pretty well on the radio today. He said that Brady basically has kind of one throwing motion, one trajectory where he throws it, and it does really well shearing into the wind,
or with no wind.
Yeah,
Right.
But if there's a wind at his back, ball tends to sail on him.
And you saw it in that drive when on their first drive after after they held Manning and they punt. He had Amendola. I think it might have been Elman down the sideline, and and he overthrew him. First of all, it was a strange call to go deep when they could have won it with a field goal at that point. But he overthrew him by 10 yards.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't close, and it looked like that ball sailed.
Yeah. As opposed to Manning, who apparently has all different angles from where he throws the ball, and he throws it without the tight spiral, and he just can't do it into the wind. I mean, he's fine with the wind at his back.
Did you adjust at Cornell?
Okay.